Okay.
All right. Hello, you guys. Good evening. My name is Beth Anna Phillips. If we haven't met before, I'm a Blue Diamond with doTERRA. I've been with doTERRA for 7 years. Just recently hit that mark. And so this is fun for me to be on tonight. I get to be on with my good friend, Dawn. I'm so happy she was able to make it on. If you guys haven't met Dawn, she is just a wonderful person inside and out. So definitely
Thank you.
make sure if you see Dawn at events, you run up and you meet her and you make her part of your world because she brightens any room that she's in.
Oh, thank you.
So tonight we're going to talk about approaching businesses. This is a topic that is of interest to a lot of people because as we're expanding our own business, kind of we start with our warm market and we start with our friends and family, and then we get a little more adventurous and we're looking to go bigger. And one of the ways that we can do that is by tapping into somebody who has built their own business, but there's strategies for doing that. So hopefully you had a chance to watch the video that Lauren Bush did. She just happened to do a webinar on this topic in the last week, and it was fantastic. Did you have a chance to watch it?
I did not.
Okay. Yeah. So in one of your Uber rides around with your kids.
Have them play it.
Yeah, have them play it. Although you're probably actually going to want to watch it when you can sit down and take some notes because it has a lot of good content in there. She approaches it from a really cool angle and has some kind of outside of the box ideas that are really cool. So I just wanted to kind of recap some of the things she shared and then bring in some things that I like to talk to business owners about when I'm approaching them about partnering with doTERRA. So some of the things that she touched on that just make a lot of sense is to be specific when you decide that you're going to go after businesses. Like sit down for a moment and really think about it. You may not just want to canvas shopping centers and shopping malls, but have a targeted audience. And one of the ways that you can start thinking about who might be the person for you, the kind of business that you personally want to go after, is think about businesses that you have frequented over your life. She talked about the fact that she did go after chiropractors because she'd been going to a chiropractor since she was a child. She was very familiar with how the office worked, how the staff is, what their setup is like. So that was something that she felt that she could partner with really well, not just to go after chiropractors. So if there's a particular business type that you are familiar with over your lifetime, definitely start there. It's going to be more comfortable. You're going to know how their procedures are, how the office is like, how the staff is kind of set up, because every business is kind of a little bit different, but they definitely have, usually the professionals really they have a right-hand person that helps them manage a lot of the day-to-day activities. And so if you're familiar with that business, then you'll know who that person is and who you're going to kind of want to seek out and befriend and target as your point of contact for that business. Think about the connections that you have already. Thought that was a great idea. Instead of cold calling right out the gate, which we can do, but don't forget about people that you know or people you know. So definitely tap into contacts that you have already in different office spaces. So much easier than cold calling if you happen to know somebody in office. So start there. You can even reach out to friends and family like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'm really looking to partner with a vet or whatever. Do you know somebody that you think would be interested in adding this natural component to their business? So kind of start there. Figuring out, so the way businesses are, they're a big fish. So first of all, they're going to take more time to bring on. You're not going to bring them on in one interaction. So just have that expectation already for yourself. It will take multiple visits, multiple times, months and months, even years to court a professional into wanting to adjust and add this to their business. So just know that going in. And then also figure out who you have on your team that's going to help support you with this business if you're going to be bringing on more than one. Reason being, typically the professional that you're talking to is not going to have a lot of time to learn all of the steps right off the bat. they will down the road as the paycheck starts increasing and they can see the value there. Once they start seeing that, it's amazing how their attention shifts and they get more interested. They want to know more of the day-to-day process. But in the beginning, a lot of it is us. We are teaching the classes. We're teaching their staff and educating their staff on how to do this. We're arranging everything. We're providing customer support because they don't have time to do that. And we don't really expect them to. So this is something that if you are going to be bringing them on, it's a nice idea if you have either somebody in your downline, if you're placing them underneath them, then the expectation is you guys are both teaching classes there. You guys are both helping, train the staff because that is quite an undertaking. Mm-hmm.
So would you recommend not putting them on your front line? Would you recommend a sponsor just so you have that help?
Couple scenarios. Great question. So I'll give you an example. I have a dentist that I'm working with in Santa Clarita. He thinks he wants to do this as a business, not just that he wants to retail. Because sometimes they'll just want to retail some products out of there, especially like a toothpaste and a mouthwash or a Deep Blue or something like that, right? But he is interested in residual income. But I'm not sure how committed he is yet. So I am placing him underneath somebody for two reasons. One, because I don't want just a, wishy-washy person on my front line. I'm not totally sure yet. And two, I need another point of contact local because I'm not there anymore all the time.
Right.
So that's kind of something to take into consideration. If the business isn't close by to you, then yeah, definitely maybe putting them under someone on your team who can locally support them. It's going to be crucial because they are going to have in-person classes. If they run out of stuff and they need somebody to drop something off really quick, they're going to need that point of contact. And it's nice for you to have an additional person helping you with events.
So you create the business as a wholesale account. Yes. As the person, so the dentist as an individual, not as the actual dentist. Correct?
What do you mean by that?
Meaning so he doesn't you're not signing up his dentistry as the wholesale customer. You're signing up him personally as the wholesale.
That's going to be up to each individual usually.
And it doesn't really matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Nope. They're either going to put it under the business name with their tax ID number. Most of the time, that's probably what it's going to be because they're going to want the write-off for the business and they're going to want the income flowing through the business. But if for some reason they didn't want to do that and they wanted to just sign up on their own name, that's totally fine too.
Okay.
Plus, it can be adjusted in the future pretty easily. It's just some forms that have to be sent into doTERRA.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy change.
Is that considered like that 14-day change again? Or is that just,
no.
Okay.
No, that would be like adding a co-applicant change. Nice try though.
Okay, I know.
I like where you're at it.
Okay.
What's in your top 5? You must have some strategy or something in there.
I'm learner is my number 1,
and
then strategic, and yeah.
That's fine. There's your strategy coming
I'm trying to work it so I can learn the system a little bit. Yeah.
I love it. That's fantastic. Okay. Let's see. I'm just looking at my notes. Oh, here, this is something that's cool, and I totally do this, so I thought it was hilarious that she brought it up. When I go to different areas, say, I'm visiting a town and I want to approach a certain type of business, stalk them online. What I mean by that is look them up and look at the About Us and see what kind of person there. I kind of do that for myself as well, kind of a weeding out process of just, say I'm looking at dentists or I'm looking at chiropractors. I'm just going to keep using those because they're easy and they come to mind, or massage therapists or yoga studios. But first of all, you want to look and see, are they using the product already? Because if they are, then no need to go in there and approach them. And if they are, chances are it's going to be on their site somewhere. And then if they're not, find out, if you look and it's a male chiropractor and you see on his site, he's got pictures of little kids. Well, then when I go in, I'm talking about how you can use them on kids. And it's this isn't just for your business. This is also something that you can use at home. So you just kind of go to the About Us of the pages of the people that you're going to be approaching and just get to know a little bit more about them. And then when you go in, you can make sure to like say keywords that are going to be interesting to them and kind of tailor the presentation in a way that is going to catch their interest more because you're talking in their world now. So I think that is really easy to do, especially with all the stuff on the internet these days. Another tip is look for freestanding businesses, not corporations. They have too much red tape. They have to go through with approval of this and that, takes too long. So starting out, look for the single standing businesses that are personally run. That's going to be a lot easier. They can make decisions quicker and they don't have to go through so many channels. Figuring out, like once you figure out who your target business is, put together a sample kit that's fitting for that business. So if it's a yoga studio, put together oils that make sense for yoga. If it's a dentist, put together samples that make sense for a dentist. And just kind of brainstorm on what that is and have those put together so that you're ready to go in that way. This I thought was such an awesome idea. We're always talking about what to do with our empty bottles, right? There is like groups like, can we recycle them? Can I make Christmas lights out of them? What are we doing with all these empty bottles? So something she does is she hangs on to all of them. And then as she's setting up a business, she shows up and like, hello, here's your display, done. And the visual is there for people. And if somebody happens to walk out with a bottle, not the end of the world because it was empty anyways, or mostly empty. You can have, if I was doing it, I would probably leave, 10 drops of oil in each of the bottles so they could use it as like a tester, like they could be able to open it and smell it that way. And that would not be a huge investment to put 10 drops of oil in the different bottles. And it's not going to be the every oil kit, it's not what you're supplying them, but if you're giving them, the top 10, or you're giving them oils that make sense for that particular business, it's probably going to be around 10 oils. It's not going to be the whole collection. So that's going to be easy to do. So a really fun, practical use for your empty bottles. That is so cool. She recommended to call first and set up a time to drop off an information packet with a professional. So that way they're expecting you. I have not done that. I just walk in. But I thought that was probably a good idea. If you are just walking in, just pay attention. They are busy. So like, I don't go up to the counter while they're while they're talking with somebody, checking somebody out and getting their payment. I'm not going to interrupt them and be like, hey, I was coming and you should start talking to me. If they're on the phone, don't interrupt them. I try to think about times of the day that they're not as busy, and try to approach the businesses during that time, because when they're busy, and then they're not going to want to hear from you, and it's not going to be as good of a response as if they're slower and they have time to do so. When I walk in to a place, I always have 2 oils, usually peppermint and orange, in my hand ready to go, because you only have a few seconds to get their attention before they're going to completely lose interest and shut you out or get interested. So have those 2 oils are the easiest, because usually everybody is okay with one of those 2 scents, and they get to pick that and they get that effect of it right away, or they're like, oh, like, okay, well, what is this? I've heard a little bit about it or whatever, but have them ready to go. You can't be like digging in your, hang on, I've got it in my purse somewhere. So you have them like in your hand, or you have a tool belt on so they're accessible, ready to go. I love those tool belts. They're super fun. Show up, put together. So, make sure you're looking good that day. I liked where she said, like, even if you just have one nice outfit, like if you're a mom and most of your clothes have like spit up and crumbs on them, yeah, that's fine. But have your one nice outfit that you reserve for going out and meeting people, and you look good and it makes you feel good. And that's the outfit. That's like your cold calling uniform that you're going to put on. And a good incentive for businesses. So this was for businesses who were okay with her hosting a class there, but they didn't necessarily want to do it as a business. Her approach to them was, hey, I'd really like to share with your clientele this natural method of healing that we do. And the benefit to you is if we host the class here, I always ask people to bring a friend or a family member. So you're going to have all these new people who aren't your clients or customers yet coming into your space and seeing your office as they're here for the class. So that's the perk for the business owner, is that new people are going to be walking through their door to attend your class, but it's bringing possible new business in for them. So those were some of my favorite tips from what she shared. So now I'm going to go on to what I like to talk about with people who, with the business owner, once they are kind of interested and they want to know more about doTERRA and what's in it for them. This part is really fun, and I encourage you to really feel the confidence in what we're offering here, because one, they need to hear that. They're a professional. They're looking for somebody who's walking through the door that, brings that energy with them. And you can bring that with you, because what we have is a super great addition to people's businesses. Almost every single business. It's hard to think of a business where doTERRA wouldn't fit in some way. So that's what's so awesome about this company that we're partnered with. And so what we're offering them in the business world, it's considered a premium. And what that means is it's something they can add to their business that's going to provide extra value for their customers, and it's also going to bring in extra income for them. And so that is what we really need to get across to them, is the value of what we're offering, not the cost. The cost is associated with how much, their startup kit is, whether it's a home essentials or a oil, every oil kit or whatever that is. That's the cost. But if we can really get their mind wrapped around the premium and the value of what we're bringing in, then it makes the cost of that kit so nominal. For one thing, it's a write-off for them anyways. So it's not like true out-of-pocket expense. It's going to be a business expense. But once they see all the value that it can bring to their business, then it's going to make the cost like basically nothing once they see that. So when we're thinking about our business, and I'll ask you, Dawn and Melissa. Melissa's on. Hi, Melissa. How do you guys feel? I feel like for most of us, we see how valuable our business opportunity is when we're bringing it to somebody, and we just want them to see that. How do you feel about that? Because you're in this world, Dawn, so I really want to hear from you.
Meaning when I zone people?
I mean, so you run your own business.
Right.
So you understand what that's like, and you are building a business with doTERRA. So how do you feel when you are approaching maybe a massage therapist or another zoner? Aren't you like, this fits in? Like, why wouldn't you do this?
Yeah, like I want to almost throw open my mouth first, and then I get my composure, and then I just want to say, like, why aren't you already doing this? Like, this is the greatest thing on earth, and everything is natural, and it's the purity and just the value of the entire company. And since the whole Blue Cross thing came out where the East Coast has it, that's my big thing now too. I'm like, look, it's going to be coming to the West Coast in just a matter of time. And and people are really responding to that, is the fact that Blue Cross and Blue Shield are now on board with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but it makes it's nerve-wracking at first, but then it's like, well, why aren't you doing it? Like,
yeah, exactly. And so hopefully the more that we do this and the more we practice it, that really is our feeling. It's not, why would they do this? It's like, why wouldn't you want to do this? Right. And really, that's how they should be feeling when we walk out the door that day, is why wouldn't I do this? Like, that doesn't make sense. There's so much goodness here. So here's some of the value that this brings. So most traditional businesses don't offer a residual income component to the business. So if you sit here and think about different types of businesses, and we're going to go through just a small list of them in a second. They don't offer it inside of their traditional business model. So people pay $20,000, $100,000, up to like $500,000 sometimes for different practices. And there's never the ability for them inside of that practice, if they don't introduce something extra, for them to make any kind of residual income. So what that means is they are only making money when their doors are open and when they're seeing people. In between visits, they're not making money off of those people. If they're closed, they're not making money off of those people. And as a business owner, if you have a sick day or you go on vacation, you're not making money. So, Dawn, you own your own business. If you're sick and you can't work, do you make money that day? No. You're muted, hon.
If I'm not zoning, then no, I make nothing. If I'm not out there hustling and working, there is no money flow.
Yeah. And that's with every business owner. Like if they're not doing their thing, then money's not coming in. And so that's why, and for most people, like if you're talking like a chiropractor or a dentist, or a vet, they have huge overhead. Their overhead cost is so high. So if they're not working on people, then that means the money is going out, but it's not coming back in. So being able to offer them the residual component with doTERRA is going to be something that if we explain it properly and they really understand what that means, it's going to start their wheels turning. Another cool thing that doTERRA provides the ability for business owners is typically, if you think of like somebody who is a hairstylist or, an esthetician, massage therapist, pretty much anyone, they are only going to have clientele based of a certain radius around their physical location. So that means they can make money off of people maybe within typically like a 50-mile radius, maybe a little bit longer if you're a specialty. But that's, it's cool, but it's kind of limited. Like we have the whole world, and basically people within 20 to 50 miles are probably going to travel to you and get services from you. And that's it. But with doTERRA, if they bring this into their business now, as they're signing people up who are their customers, who are going to be sharing with their mom who lives in Arkansas and their aunt who lives in China and, all these different countries. This is global because doTERRA is global. Now, as they start building a business with doTERRA, they're actually going to have the ability to make money off of people in other cities, in other states, and even other countries. So that's really cool. I like being able to explain that part to them. You see the eyes kind of get pretty big because they don't have that ability right now in their business. But it's like we know that they have invested a lot of money on a lot of time setting up their business, and they've worked hard to bring in their clientele. So I'm like, why not build something where you're making money off of your clientele's friends and family? That's what this is because as they start using them and loving them, they're going to start talking about them. That's how doTERRA spreads. That's how this business works and how the product works. We know this. That's a proven system. So why not bring this in and grow your network to where you're making money off of the friends and family of the people who are clients or patients of yours. So that's a really cool thing, is the fact that they're no longer limited to people within a certain radius of them. They can actually spread out throughout the world. The other cool thing is the mentorship that comes with doTERRA. So typically, if somebody is starting their own business and they are going to schooling for it, or they're hiring coaches, that is a lot of money. And with doTERRA, we get all of that pretty much for free. So they're going to get mentored by you. Their staff is going to get trained by you. And the first, events for the first few months or, possibly 6 months or longer are going to be pretty much set up and ran by you for free. So they're getting to add this component to their business where all the training and coaching is provided to them for free. So that's really, really valuable. That's tens of thousands of dollars that people pay for coaches to do this for them. And the last part, which is two more things, is that we are able to tell them you're going to have the ability to grow your business without hiring any more employees. And that's a really key thing because as business owners, employees are a headache. They just are for many reasons. Sometimes it's just the paperwork. Sometimes it's the insurance you have on them. Sometimes, you have issues. You end up getting a bad employee and trying to go through the firing process so you don't get sued is a nightmare. And so they don't want to bring on more employees. But you're like, what if I told you you could expand your business and make more money and you have to bring in 0 employees? That is going to be exciting for them. And also that the company that you're partnering with takes care of research and development. They take care of product sourcing. They take care of inventory, shipping, customer service. You don't have to do any of that. That's all provided by the company. You just get to share this with your patients. So that's another huge thing. They don't have to carry stock. They don't have to worry about sourcing the oils or when the, run out of product. doTERRA handles all that. doTERRA does all the shipping. They're not having to add that to their list. That's something that's done for them. So these are just some tips for bringing value, being able to talk to a business owner in a way that they're going to see this as an asset. They're going to see this as a way to bring in another stream of income into their business and not just an expense. Is really going to be an asset for them in maybe their retirement in the future. Who knows? Dentists aren't dentists forever. They do retire. Chiropractors, do retire, and that they get to a point where they want to cut back. And if they cut back, then their money goes down. But if they've built something on the side, then that income doesn't have to change. It can even go up. So that's a huge asset. So that was what I had to talk about. Do you have any questions, Dawn?
No, I'm good. I agree with the fact that, I forget that doTERRA does the customer service for them, and I don't ever throw that out there. I guess I let it drop off, and I tell them, yes, I'm there for them. And, if I have somebody with me that, they'll have two of us, but I always forget that doTERRA ships and I leave the doTERRA part out of it. So that's a good tip to remember that, they've got this whole other company that's basically for free doing this work for them. I forget about that.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I know you're getting your kiddos to, is it baseball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Softball. I know. Softball life. It's every day something for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, go oil up some other softball moms. And
I will. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk later.
Actually, that reminds me, I just left without my softball oils.
Okay.
I know. I always bring my softball oils with me.
All right.
Thank you for everything. I took avid notes, so thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you next time I'm down in California.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.